Okay, here we go. Dun-dun-dun-dun. Right, I'm just about to stream it and then we will go live. Oh, hang on a minute, actually, one sec. Okay, here we go. Hello and welcome to actually one of my first episodes of something that I've started recently called The Conscious Female Founder, where I'm going to be talking to a load of amazing, incredible women who have stepped outside the norm, been through some really, what can I say, tough times, but have come out the other side. And I'm so excited to be sitting down with this first person. So this is Dani. Dani and I met probably over a year ago, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Probably around that, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
probably about a year ago. We actually met online through we were both doing sort of like an entrepreneurial, I guess, self-study course at the time. We sort of met that way and instantly connected and have become brilliant friends ever since. Like
Yeah.
you are such a good friend to me. So, Dani, I guess the best thing to do is for you to introduce yourself. Who are you? Welcome.
Who am I? That's a big question. Okay. So yeah, thank you so much for having us on, Sally. It's lush to be here. So I am Dani. I kind of started, like Sally said, was part of kind of an entrepreneurial group. So my business journey started probably back in 2021. So I was coming off the back of being diagnosed with breast cancer. So I got diagnosed with breast cancer back in 2020. My youngest was 6 months. My eldest was just under 4. We'd just gone into lockdown for COVID, so it was all going on. Then I got diagnosed with breast cancer, and it was a really obviously a awful time. I had to go through kind of all the me treatment. I had chemo, surgery, radiotherapy, more chemo. It was like a never-ending journey. And at the time, I was just working for the council. I'd been there probably about 7 or 8 years, doing people's council tax, which was joyous. It was a great time. But it came to the end of the treatment, and I thought, you know what? Like when you've been through something like that, it's like life's too short to be stuck doing something you don't want to do. And I thought, if I'm ever going to make the change, like now is the time to do it. And I'd always kind of toyed with having my own business, but I didn't really know what to do,
Yep.
how to do it. And my background was in dance. So I've always danced, my degrees in dance. That was my, like what I'd always done. So I started looking for franchise businesses,
Yep.
and found a franchise called Diddy Dance, which is dance classes for preschool children. So little ones, like as soon as they're on their feet up until they get to about 5 or 6. And I thought that's the way to get into business. And with
Yep.
it being a franchise as well, it was perfect for me because I'd never ran a business, wouldn't know how to
Yeah.
start, and have that little support network as well.
Yeah.
And so that was my kind of first step into the business world from there, really. And then kind of carried on. Do you want to tell you the whole journey?
Absolutely. Yeah, because what I mean, like, let's go back a step. Like, getting diagnosed with cancer is it's a huge thing. It's obviously never personally happened to me, but I guess like in that moment, did you find that that was a moment where it kind of gave you a kick? I don't want to say it was a blessing, but what I'm saying is like, did it give you a kick to kind of take action and actually step back and sort of look at your life and think, is this actually what I
Yeah,
want? Like, was it one of those moments?
100%. Like everybody says it, and everybody you talk to who's been through something like this says it makes you just reassess life
Yeah.
completely. And it's like, what am I doing? Like, why am I spending day in, day out doing something I hate? Like, I'm not getting any pleasure from it. I'm not getting any joy from it. Like, what you don't know what's around the corner. You don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. So, yeah, now is the time to start living life and to start doing something that you really, really want to be doing.
That's
So yeah, it did
amazing.
give us a push. And like you say, I'll never sit and go, oh, well, I'm glad it happened. It was awful. It was a
Of
horrific
course,
time.
right? Yeah.
But what has happened since that point and all the amazing things that I've done, I guarantee I would still be sitting in that office now
Yeah.
if it hadn't have happened. So it is about looking at what
Yeah.
can come out of an awful situation, basically.
Absolutely. Of course. Yeah. I completely understand that. How it kind of really gives you an opportunity to sit there and assess your life and be like, because I think it's so easy for all of us to get stuck in the monotonous,
Yeah.
like the
Yeah.
monotonous
The
cycle.
stability as well, having that
Absolutely, right?
stable, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, the stability, especially if you're a parent or you've got bills to pay or mortgage to pay, it's so
Yeah.
easy to get stuck in that monotonous sort of cycle and never actually feel truly fulfilled,
Yeah.
or like you're kind of fulfilling your life's purpose. So like you are an
Yeah.
absolutely incredible woman to for that to have happened to you, and especially with 2 young kids as well. Like, I don't even know what must have been going through your mind. It must have been a really scary time.
It's one of those moments that you see, like you see on telly and you see in films and you hear about,
Right.
but that moment when you get told, literally, it is just like everything stops and you're like, well, that's it. Like, what am I going to do? Like, the kids are going to be without us. Like,
Yeah.
and every single thought that you could think does go through your mind. It does, because
How old were you when it happened?
I would have been 34.
Jeez, you were young.
34, yeah. Yeah. And
Yeah.
that's the other thing. It's naive, but
Yeah.
you don't think it's going to happen to you.
Happened
And
to
you think
you.
if it is going to happen, it's going to be when you're much
Yeah,
older.
of
You just
course,
don't
right?
think, yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Well, I'm glad in
Um,
a way you kind of had that wake up call at that age, because obviously they
yeah,
had like your health on your side, and especially because it gave you that sort of that moment of like, right, what do I actually want here?
yeah,
Yeah,
exactly,
bless you. And
exactly.
you're okay now, right?
Touch wood, always touch wood. But yes, so far,
Yeah,
like I'm still I still see them every year. I go for yearly
amazing.
checkups, and they're really good, because if I ever have any sort of niggles or worries or anything, rather than going through the GP, I'm still
Yeah,
under their care, so I can go straight to them. They get checked over, so it's like a nice peace of mind to know that, like,
absolutely. Of
yeah,
course.
yeah,
Okay, amazing. So I know obviously because you've done some other incredible achievements apart from obviously kicking cancer in the and also building a really successful franchise brand. You've also done some other pretty amazing things, haven't we? Because you have published what, 3 children's books?
rebooks, yeah, yeah, yeah,
8 children's books, which is
yeah.
incredible. You now you coach other women as well, don't you? In the kind of the startup or the beginning of their entrepreneurial journey. Is that correct?
Yeah, so I've got kind of a membership at the moment. It's just about to take a slightly different direction, but kind of
Amazing.
the last kind of year or so, I've been had a membership and a group for basically people who were where I was 3 years ago, kind of mums who were wanting to do something else,
Yep.
not sure how to get into business, maybe just want to hear from somebody real, somebody normal, somebody who's been through it,
Yes.
to kind of share those things. Because I think when you're going into business, you don't know what you don't know
No,
until
you
you're
don't.
in. So it's just nice to have somebody to kind of be there to share those experiences. So I've been kind of working with mums, helping and supporting them along that journey, as well as kind of a social media aspect as well,
Yes.
which has always been something that I've been passionate about. So that's kind of what I've been doing the last year or so, which has been really, really lovely.
Yes, I see you pop up on my social media all the time. You are
Good.
literally quite the content creator. You have absolutely nailed it. I'm still sitting there with the text scratching my head, like, I don't know what is going on here. And you're creating these reels and you're doing
Oh,
that for other people as well, aren't you?
yeah, yeah, yeah. So I've kind of worked as a social media manager as well. So people, again, like, you go into business and you have an idea that you're passionate about and something that you love, but you don't expect that you're going to have to be sitting there thinking of content every day and
Yeah.
putting videos on and going live and doing posts. Like, you shouldn't have to always, you should be able to focus on your business. So when I can come along and help other businesses and say, you do what you need to do, I'll do your content for you,
Yeah.
get your face out there, get you seen, then it's just like, it's the best of both worlds, isn't it, really?
That's
Because it's
absolutely
not
amazing.
everybody enjoys it, and it is a time consuming part of running a
Absolutely.
business.
Yeah, it's a time consuming thing. And I think for someone that maybe doesn't have the technical background or the technical know-how, like
Yeah,
as coaches, we like to deliver to people that want our help and that need our help and that we know that
yeah,
we can make an impact in. So then having sometimes to get lost behind the tech, for me personally, can be a real draining thing. So
yeah,
I know I've
absolutely.
spoken to quite a few other coaches and people like that, and they're like, "Oh yeah, Dani does my content. It's great." And I'm like, "Right,
Ah,
that's why I look so good." I'm like, "She is the secret behind the content."
oh, bless you. No,
Okay,
it's nice.
amazing. So I feel like you are such a woman on a mission.
Yeah,
You really, really are. And there have been obviously other things that have cropped up, like for you since obviously cancer and things like that. You've obviously been through a divorce. You've moved house multiple times. Like,
yeah, it's
so
been,
you are just a real life person, but who has got this absolute wealth of knowledge and experience in life. And obviously, you're a mum as well, and juggling that, like I know, it can be
yeah,
really, really tricky. I think
yeah,
like one of the things that I see crop up quite a lot of the time is women who are maybe starting out on an entrepreneurial journey or who wanted to dip their toe into business sometimes almost have like a real lack of confidence.
yeah.
Have you ever felt like that?
Do you know what it is? Always still now,
Yeah.
always, like, even from being a kid, I've always struggled with confidence. Like when I was at school, like I never really felt like I fit in anywhere. I wasn't like in a big group of, I never had a big friendship group. And I've always struggled with confidence. I think the only thing that helped me with my confidence when I was younger was the dance thing. Like I danced from a very tiny all the way through. And when I was at my dancing classes, when I was dancing on stage, I had this burst of confidence, but then I'd get off stage and then I'd be back to, wouldn't say hello, wouldn't speak to anyone. Like, and still now I've suffered massively with confidence. Like not as bad, because I've now got to a point where I'm just like, do you know what? Just do it. It doesn't matter.
Yes.
But things like this, or if I go live, people will go, Dani, you're so confident, you just go on and you do it. And I'll say to them, if you could see me like 10 minutes ago, you wouldn't say that I'm sitting here going, oh my God. Like, but I think you get to I've kind of got to a point now where I'm just think, do you know what? You've just got to do it. If somebody doesn't like it, like, how does that affect us really? So it's just kind of a case of pushing
So I
forward.
guess for you, like, it's kind of a sense of just doing it anyway.
Just do it anyway. Yeah. And what's the worst that can happen? Like, I've been through a lot. What's the worst that can happen by going on a live and somebody not liking it? It's like,
it doesn't.
you know what I mean?
It means absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
It's almost like it's become a bit of a superpower for you.
Yeah, it has, absolutely, because it does, like I said before, it does make you reassess, and it just makes you think, do you know what, I'm grateful to just be here and be doing what I'm doing. And other things kind of fade into insignificance, really, in the big scheme of things. So yeah, definitely, it's definitely helped kind of push through those barriers massively.
It's interesting, isn't it? I remember also being like petrified of like going on live or almost doing posts and things like that and exposing myself to the world. But I think actually you get to a point when you realize that actually everybody is almost looking at themselves.
Yeah.
To a certain degree. Like we can all be so self-critical on ourselves. So actually what someone else is doing, like someone else would probably look at you and be like, oh my gosh, this girl is an absolute powerhouse. She's amazing. Whereas you might be feeling like, oh gosh, I'm not feeling great.
And I think as well, what you've got to remember is like, everybody's got so much going on in their lives. Everyone's got their own dramas. Everyone's got their own issues. Everyone's got things going on. Half the time, they don't care what you're doing. So you put that post out there and you're like, oh, what are they going to think? They don't care, like half the time. So I think it's just like, I think we overthink things so much to the point where we don't do it. And I think just do it, and it's done, and it's out there, and you're making a step forward. And by doing it, you never know who you're going to help out. Whether it's one person, whether it's 10 people, whether it's 100 people, somebody will resonate with what you're putting out there. And if that makes a difference to them, then you're changing
things for the right reasons. Absolutely. It is that, isn't it? It's almost like I was having a conversation with someone earlier today, and we were talking about like how you can have like really big dreams and goals and aspirations and things like that. But a lot of the time what we find is people look at the end result. Like, I want to get to X, and it's like, okay, absolutely, yes. Like, I honestly truly believe that anything is possible in this life. I believe anything is possible, and you can do literally anything. But I think sometimes people get so kind of caught up in the end result, they struggle to take the first step. And then it's then coming up against, you know, talking to other people about your dreams or what you want to achieve or something like that. And a lot of the time, whether it be friends or family, I don't think they're doing it in a spiteful or malicious way whatsoever, but sometimes they'll try and talk you down.
Definitely.
And that can then affect your confidence, and then we kind of give up, or we don't start or something like that. So it's understanding that we have to take the first step and just take one step forward, and know that you've done that, and know that you've mastered that, because that then builds the confidence to be like, okay, I did it. Like that's okay. Like that's
and it's being proud of those little achievements that you made along the way. And I think you're right. If you look at where you want to get, that big goal, it looks massive and it feels unachievable. Whereas if you just take it day by day, like little things like, oh well, I sent a couple of like emails today, or I did a new post today, or I went live today. Every little step, you're like giving yourself a little pat on the back, and you're like, well, I've done it. What's next? Then what's next? To the point where like it becomes natural.
It's almost like that compound effect, isn't it? Where it's like you do one thing and then you gain a little bit of confidence, you do another thing, you gain a little bit of confidence, and then before you know it, you're so much further forward than you ever thought you'd be, or had ever been in your life before, and you're like, oh my gosh, like look at what I've achieved.
You've done it.
Exactly that. And then taking the time to celebrate that as well. I think sometimes I definitely get lost in not taking enough time maybe to reflect on all the things I have achieved.
Same.
Because we
Yeah.
get so caught up on the next thing. So it's making sure that you really take the time to reflect on the good as well.
Yeah, because I think it's so easy to get to the end of the day and go, oh, I haven't done this, I haven't done
Yeah,
this, that didn't
right.
work, right? That, but then look at the other side of it. What did
Yeah.
you do? Like, what did you achieve?
What
Yeah.
did you achieve? Yeah, like what conversations did you have? You know, how did
Yeah.
you start moving the needle just that tiny bit further to then be able to accomplish the bigger goal that you want at
Bigger.
the end of it? Like,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
I think another thing that crops up a lot for me is I see, and I've definitely suffered this, like I will literally hold my hands up, is imposter syndrome. People kind of like, you know, they feel like, I guess to a certain degree, like they're not good enough, or they're
Yeah.
not experienced enough, or they're not something enough to be able to take the step outside the norm and maybe set up a business, or to take the step
Yeah.
outside the norm and, I don't know, do something else. Have you ever felt like that?
Again, always. Always.
Yeah.
Yeah. 100%. And I think it's a totally natural thing. I think we all do get imposter syndrome. And especially because now online businesses and things like that are so much more apparent. There's so many
Yeah.
more people trying to do it. So the likelihood is whatever business you're trying to set up or whatever it is that you're doing, the likelihood is you're going to see somebody else online doing it. And what
Yeah.
you're going to do is you're going to look at them and go, well, they're doing it much better than me, or I couldn't do it. And we all do it.
Yeah.
But you know what really helped me is somebody said that as long as you know 10% more than the people that you're talking to or the people that you're
Yeah.
sharing your knowledge with or your skills with, then you're well within your right to be there and to be sharing your skills and your knowledge with. And I think we've all got our own personal experiences. So you and your next door neighbour
Yeah.
could be running exactly the same businesses,
Yeah.
but have totally different customers or clients because people buy into who you are. So I think
Absolutely,
it's
right.
just important to remember to just be authentic, be yourself, and
Yourself,
that is
yeah.
what will grow your business and be. And I'll be honest, like with my clients and things, I'll go to them like I've had a rough day. This has happened, or like I
Yeah.
felt really nervous coming on and talking to you guys tonight, but I'm here because I want to help you. Like I'll be really genuinely honest with them,
Yeah.
and so that it becomes normal for them to know that it's all right to feel like that. We all
Yeah,
feel like
right.
that, but we're still doing it.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
think you've touched on some really interesting points there, because it's like, first of all, yeah, I think someone once said to me absolutely years ago, she said, oh, that curiosity doesn't kill the cat, comparison does. And I was like, my gosh,
Yeah.
that's so true, isn't it? Because I think it's so easy in today's world of social media to flick onto social media and, you know, X, Y, and Z people are doing this, that, and the other, and you're like, oh my
Yeah.
God, but I'm not there. And it's like,
Yeah.
but let's remove ourselves from this situation first of all, and work out where you are, and to
Mhm.
stay in your own lane and stay so super focused on what you're doing, and
Yeah.
to keep asking for help and to keep getting help from someone who has done it. And I think that's where I come to the second point of like, when you show up and you're authentic in what you're doing and what you're delivering, it comes from such a different place,
Yeah.
because you can resonate with the people that might be who you were 5 years ago. So you've already trodden that path, and you've seen the highs and the lows, and things that go well and things that don't go well. And when you're truly authentic, you understand that life sucker punches all of us at times,
Yeah.
right? Out of the
Yeah.
blue. So
Mhm.
we're not trying to portray this, you know, oh, my lifestyle
But
is
it's all
fabulous.
perfect.
No, not at all. If
Yeah.
anything, I'm saying
People
to
don't want
people,
to see that.
no,
People don't
I
want
don't
to see a perfect
either.
life. Yeah,
I don't.
exactly.
I want to see that, like, real women leading other real women, and we're
Yeah.
doing it together, like as a strength. And I think that's where it's so powerful. And that's
Yeah.
why I love talking to you. And I love what you're doing, because you're doing exactly that, and you're coming from such an authentic place, and you're sharing the highs and the lows and the struggles, you know,
Yeah.
being a multiple business owner, having gone through cancer, having gone through a divorce, having to move house. Like, this is real. This is real
Yeah.
life. And yet you're showing up in that amazing, authentic way. Is there anything, like, I guess, that you do, or that sort of like a toolbox effectively that you have? So if you do get days where you're feeling particularly low in confidence, or you're feeling that like ick of like, oh, like imposter syndrome, or I'm not good enough, or is there anything that you have learned that you can then turn to, that you do to kind of get yourself out of that, or to like help yourself?
I think for me, it's kind of just sitting down and first of all, I'm trying really hard to not put so much pressure. The last kind of couple of years,
Yeah.
I've been very conscious that I put a lot of pressure on myself, whereas the last probably only 6, 7 months or so, I've kind of taken the time to be like, do you know what, if you're having an off day, it's all right to have an off day, and
Yeah.
not to put the pressure on yourself to think, right, I have to get in there and I have to do it, because I think if you pressure yourself to do something, you're not going to do it to your best ability.
Yeah.
So first thing I would say is just, for me, is just to step back if I am having a day like that and just reassess like how I'm feeling, why I'm feeling like that,
Yeah.
and what I can do to kind of push forward. But the other thing I've started doing, which, as you know, this is all very new to me, the kind of gratitudes and manifestation, things like that.
Yeah.
That's very, very new, and I'm just dipping my toe in. But I have started doing morning gratitudes every day, and I do feel like that sets me day off in like a positive way, because it makes you like you're not getting up and being like, oh, I mean, we do still have to, we are
Oh,
still
we've
like
got kids,
morning.
we're going to be like that.
Yeah, exactly. But it just gives it like a bit of a positive vibe going forward, and you think,
So
yes, I am,
true.
maybe I am having a bad day, but I've got this and I've got this and I've done this, and like, let's move forward with that kind of thing. So things like that I think really help.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with that. That's one of the first things I do when I open my eyes in the morning. And it literally takes me 20 seconds, and I'll literally count out 5 things that I'm super grateful for. And that can be like the simplest of things, like I've slept really well last night, or Willow's doing really well at school. Like just
The
something in
sun's
my life.
shining, like some,
Yeah.
anything.
And it's incredible how much that then changes your mindset for the rest of the day. It has quite a huge impact. And like, it's
Yeah,
not like I need to tell anybody else. Those are just my private personal things. And I think as well, like I try and do that just before I go to bed as well at night, is sit there. Because like you said a minute ago, it's so easy to get to the end of the day and beat yourself up on all the things you haven't done. But
yeah,
actually, if we try and flick the switch on this one and congratulate on ourselves the things that we have done, and it might not even be that big a thing to you,
yeah,
but you did it. Like days where I'm like, oh my gosh, I've hoovered the house from top to bottom.
yeah.
Tick. That is a
The
tick
kid's
for
got a
me.
meal.
You know
The
what I
kid's
mean?
got a meal with vegetables. It's all good.
Absolutely. And then
Yeah,
there's other days where I'm like, do you know what? I've had the most incredible, lovely message from a client who I've managed to help.
yeah,
Like huge tick. So I think I absolutely agree with you. Like taking that time just to find the things that we can be grateful for can really
yeah,
shape our day and the way we think and the
massively.
way we feel, and probably then the way we show up as well for like our
Yeah,
family, our friends, our colleagues, people that we're
yeah.
serving. So yeah, I agree with that. So I know you dip your toe into it. I know I'm a bit of I call myself a spiritual woo-woo person. Like I am. I am big into spirituality and
Yeah,
energy and the universe. I believe in God, spirit. And I know this is something new for you, because I know we started talking about it, didn't we? A good couple of months
yeah,
ago. And you were
yeah,
like,
yeah.
I'm just sort of like dipping my toe. So I
So
guess my question to you is like what is spirituality to you, or do you count yourself as like a spiritual person, or were you brought up in a really strict religious household or anything like that? Like,
yeah, so we were all like religion, like I would say, like my dad's vicar.
okay,
So
yeah, yeah. Oh, I think
so
I doing this, yeah.
yeah, so I've always been like religious. I've always kind of been religious, gone to church, and I
Yeah.
do believe that there's something
Yeah.
out there. Like
Yeah.
it's definitely something, but the more spiritual side, when it comes to like like the manifestation and things like that, that's something that I've always, because I've been in the business world, I've heard a lot more about it, and I know a lot more people who are really into it, and I've seen amazing things that have come from it. So it's always been something that I've thought, oh, I really want to get more into, but I've just never really got to grips with it. I'll be totally honest.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely, right.
But I really want to, and I would say definitely the last probably only 2, 3 months I've been kind of working on it and learning a bit more about it, and like I've noticed things that have happened, and I'm like, is that like, is that it? Like,
Yes.
so it's so yeah, it's definitely early stage for that side of things. It's definitely like early stages, but I definitely think that I'm definitely at a point where I think what happens in life is happening for a reason, and if
Yeah.
something doesn't go right, or if something takes a different direction, I do believe that it's because it's leading you on a different path, or something better is out there, or something. So I'm
Yeah.
definitely there with things like that. But
That's
yeah,
amazing. So was there like a particular poignant time where you kind of, because yeah, you've been in the business for a quite long time.
yeah,
Was there a particular poignant time where someone said something or something happened to you, or has it always been something that sort of niggled you at the back of your
it's
brain?
always niggled, but I think probably the last year is probably one of the tough. Like obviously I went through cancer 3 years ago, but this year has been
you've had a
really
tough
tough. Like gone through like divorce, separation,
one.
finding somewhere to live, going to being a single parent. Like it's been a massive year, and there's been a lot of like knockbacks alongside that as well. And I think that's maybe kind of made us think, right, I need to get into this because I think it just makes you, because it's so easy, like we said before, when all these knockbacks are coming and you're getting hit from this end and this end, and you're like, God, what is wrong with me? Like, what's happening? What is going on? So for me, it's quite a nice thing, a nice thought to think that it's all right. These things are happening. You know, you're on your own. Your house is getting sold. And this is happening, but it's because something better is out there, and that's quite like a warming feeling. To know that there's a reason for it happening. Do you know what I mean? So I think this year has been the catalyst for us to be like, right, like.
I absolutely agree with that. Like I completely agree with that. That like it's so easy to get stuck into that sort of I guess like mindset of like everything is happening to me. Like it's all happening to me. And then when you start stripping things back and understanding, actually, do you know what, we're all energetic beings, and kind of the energy we're giving out is the energy that we're attracting back in again. So there's this sort of cycle that's going on, and how to sort of start working with energy and to make sure that what's going on in here is then being reflected outwards. Because a lot of times people will say, you know, oh, you know, life is just crap, or you know, things happen in threes, and I'm like, yeah, but we've got to understand that our thoughts create something, and they come from an energy source, and that's then what we're attracting back again into our life. So it's so I guess it's, and I mean, like you said, you've had an incredibly tough year, and that is why I am just like, you are an absolute superwoman. You are a powerhouse of a woman, and why I'm so honored to be able to sit here, because you honestly, you downplay it, but when I, like, someone from an outsider's perspective looks on and goes, my God, like this woman has been through it, and yet look at her, she's still showing up. She's showing up.
And I'm like, come on.
Yeah, right though, but you're still you're showing up for yourself, you're showing up for your kids, you're showing up for your business, for your clients. Like that is amazing. Like that is utterly incredible. And that's why I feel like so many people will resonate with you, because
hopefully,
we're not sitting here saying, oh yeah, it's all roses and hearts and butterflies.
Exactly. And don't get us wrong, there's days where I'll sit upstairs and sit on the bed or sit on the sofa and I'll not move and I'll cry, and like I have horrible days.
Of course,
but I think it's just, remember, I think, like I said before, it's about having those horrible days, getting it out of your system, and then being like, right, okay, we've done that, we've dwelled, we've like, it's not going to get us any further forward. Like, let's see what we can do to kind of
absolutely
forward,
so do you think, like, so I was about to ask you, do you think spirituality has helped you in life and business? But interestingly, you said something a second ago that I want to touch on, that was that when something happens, you kind of then think, oh, well, something better must be coming of it. And it's almost like the two things that happened to you, like the big things that happen, obviously cancer and divorce and stuff like that, something better has kind of happened because of it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. Like I said earlier, like if I hadn't gone through the cancer treatment, I wouldn't be sitting here talking to you. I probably wouldn't have any of the businesses. I wouldn't have met all of the amazing people that I've met on this business journey. Like some of those people, like yourself included, are now classed as like really good friends, and like I wouldn't have done any of that. So it is. And like the whole separation thing, like it's just it's a journey, but I think it is about focusing on what's
on the other side. It's quite
exciting.
It's exciting. Okay, so 2025 is fast approaching us.
Yes, I know. What the heck?
What? Another year done. What do you, I guess, like, my question would be like, what do you want to achieve in business and in life in 2025? What does it look like for you?
So 2025 business wise for me, like I said before, I'm going on a slightly different like direction with where I'm going, which I'm really, really excited for. So like I said, the last kind of year or so, it's been about kind of business focus, helping moms get into business, helping them on their business journeys. But because of everything that I've kind of gone through and been through the last year, I feel like where my knowledge and experience is going to really, really help people is like focusing more on kind of resilience, working together to like move forward, like helping people who are maybe going through struggles, who need to overcome things, and showing that like you can progress forward. So my I'm still going to be doing kind of the coaching and the one-to-ones. My group's just taking a little bit of a different direction, but I really, really want to focus on, because they say like the best businesses come from personal experience
They
and
do.
you've
Right.
been through. And I feel like at the minute that's what's been my focus the last year. So to help other people who are maybe going through shitty times, like is what I want to kind of focus on going through for
That's
2025.
amazing.
I'm
So
really excited about it, actually.
yeah,
Really,
like
really
I'm
excited.
so excited for this for you. It's interesting as
Yeah.
well, because I think sometimes people, like when they have their business or when they start out in business, they're so scared to pivot. They're like
Yeah. Yeah.
they're petrified.
Yeah.
Whereas I think sometimes doing a pivot is amazing, because you have a wealth of expertise and knowledge, and as we're growing and we're going through business and life and stuff like that, we're just adding to it. So doing
Yeah.
a little pivot is great. It just means you're able to help and serve and bring value to more people's life, which is
Yeah, absolutely. And I think life goes, you go through ups and downs, you go through changes, you'll be
yeah,
passionate about certain things at one
yeah,
point in life and then other things. And it's all right, because there's always going to be an audience, there's always going to be people who are in need of
yeah.
the experiences that you've been through. So yeah, I'm excited.
So I guess would you say your mission for 2025 is helping other people that are going through really tough time?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes.
That is incredible.
Yeah.
Okay, so one of my last questions for you is, if there is somebody listening who can kind of resonate with you maybe 5 years ago, so being stuck in a job that maybe didn't quite fulfill you, and maybe getting like a bit of a scare or something like that, whether it be health or family or something along those sorts of lines, what would be your top tip for them if they are at that point where they know they want change, they know they want more from their life, whether that be business or life,
Yeah.
it's like experience, like what would be your biggest tip or your biggest takeaway?
I think really it's like, don't overthink
That's a
what you
really
want to
good one.
do. Yeah. And don't and really just focus on something that makes you happy, something that you're going to enjoy and that you're going to be excited about doing,
Yeah,
and not to worry that, or whoever else is doing it. Don't worry what other people are doing. Don't worry about how far other people are doing. Like, you are on your own journey. You've got your own experience. You've got your own skills. Like, focus on you and what you can give to other people.
yeah,
And it is easier said than done when you're starting out, because you, like you said, you do compare yourself to others. But I think
yeah,
that's a massive thing, is just as long as it's something that you feel like you've got a genuine passion for, genuine love for, then you can make a business out of that, like, without a doubt. And like you said before, don't be afraid to have to, if you need to pivot it, if you start
yeah,
something and think, oh no, it's not working, or I want to, it's okay. It's
yeah,
okay to change.
yeah.
Yeah. And don't care what, just don't care what people
Yeah,
think.
absolutely,
Just,
right. What is
what's
it?
the worst that could happen?
I say to people, I say, yeah, this isn't the trailer for your big life.
Yeah,
We are not living the
exactly.
trailer at the moment, people. This is your big life.
Yeah, you do not know what is going to happen tomorrow, so just do it. Just do
Yeah,
it, and if it doesn't work, it doesn't work.
it's fine.
Try
Then
something
find
else.
something else that does,
Yeah,
something else that brings you just as much joy, probably even more.
exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
okay.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
thank you so much. You
Oh,
are an
thank
absolute
you.
powerhouse of a woman. I love you
Oh,
dearly. I really do. You are
oh.
utterly incredible in every
Well,
single
so are
way.
you. So are you. So
Thank you,
thank
my
you for having us
darling.
on.
I wish you all the love, luck, and success for 2025.
Oh.
And if anybody wants to reach out to you, whether that be to talk about Diddy Dance or maybe some kind of, like, if you've got like they want to talk to you about potentially taking on a franchise, but they don't know where to look, can they reach out to you?
Yeah, absolutely. You can well, I'm all my socials are Mums Achieving More. So I'm on Instagram, TikTok,
Yeah,
Facebook,
I
all of
will
them. So you
tag
can,
you in
yeah,
everything. And then I guess, yeah,
perfect.
anyone that's starting out on their entrepreneurial journey, absolutely reach out, have a chat with Dani.
Yeah, absolutely.
She's got a wealth of knowledge, and she's
Oh.
honestly such a kind-hearted person. She will honestly help you in the most amazing way.
Oh, thanks.
All right, my darling. Well, look, I
Thank you,
love
my
you
lovely.
loads,
You
and
too,
I
love
will
you.
speak to you so soon. All right, sweetheart.
See you soon. Bye,
Take
bye,
care.
bye.